pieces by hand. Fuck me.
Damn, like that's a lot.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking of like how many hours a week was he doing that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Disgusting.
Like it like I wouldn't want to sit there for hours just going through and just finding all the dead air and being like, okay, I
Mm-hmm.
gotta trim this down, but not too much. Just a comfortable amount and like that. That would be a pain in the ass to do.
Mm-hmm. I'm also a lot better with open shot, that video editor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been playing with it for a while now. I'm much better at it than I used to be.
I was
I
using
just
it quite a bit, but then like I took that long break.
mm-hmm. Well, I'm just using it for memes. So I just do like memes with it. I'm just like, yeah, this is why I've downloaded this. Swear to God, that's all I've been using it for. I'm like, a waste of my. I would say it's a waste of my talents, but it actually does help me get
Right.
better at it. So I'm just like, I just spent like an hour making this stupid like meme, like that's like 30 seconds long, just making this meme, like an hour of my life. I'm like, it was worth it. That was funny as shit. When I'm just posting it up on different discords that I'm at, I'm just like, this is such a waste of fucking time.
You know, I've been I've actually been recording for about the last minute and a half, and
Mm-hmm.
I noticed one thing.
Mm-hmm.
This snowball microphone is really good. It's not like I'm looking at my mic, like audio.
Mm-hmm.
It's not picking up anything else except for my voice, and if I'm
That's good.
clicking a little too hard on my keyboard. But other than
That's
that,
very good.
like if I really wanted to, I could sit here and I could surf through the web while we're fucking talking, and they will not hear my mouse clicks.
That is nice because I remember that one time I remember in a video I could hear your mouse clicks and I was pitching to Trav about it. It's like a lot of fucking mouse clicking from fucking Billy.
Yeah, sorry about
I said
that.
that to him after I went to edit it, and he's just like, I wasn't doing anything. I was just talking the whole time. I'm like, well, I was hearing someone fucking typing away. It's like, God damn it, Billy. God
But
damn it,
you know,
Billy.
most of the time, like I'm not even like touching my keyboard or anything. It was just actually other sounds that my Yeti was actually picking up.
Yeah, your Yeti was. I don't know what was up with your Yeti. Like, you had some fucking issues there with its like sensitivity or something. Because yeah, you
Yeah,
were picking up way. I remember asking Trav, I'm like, what do you get? And I think Trav's actually got a pretty shitty mic, and so I'm just like, why the fuck is Billy picking up so? Why the fuck am I getting so much back noise from Billy? Trav with this shitty mic, just nothing. He's just
yeah,
like silent.
and
I didn't
like
get it.
you know, like and with my old Yeti, I even had the gain basically down to nothing, just because with if I had it at the recommended amount, every if I was in a chat, everybody would be able to hear what was going on in the rest of the house. At least when I was in my old house, anyway, because those walls were fucking paper thin, and you
Mm-hmm.
like I could be upstairs because I used to use my Yeti for my PlayStation. I would be
Hey,
upstairs
John.
playing games or using it on my computer, and the people I'd be talking to would be able to hear conversations that were going on downstairs, and
Crazy.
I couldn't hear because like I was wearing really sound canceling headset and all that. And
That's where I'm at with it. I got a decent pair of headphones, and they're very good. I don't hear a lot of outside noise because they do seal in very well. So yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm not hearing the shit, but the mic's picking it up and then recording it.
and it barely picks up my chair, which is cool.
That's got to be nice. Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's even supposed to already be like a thing with like the or whatever. There should be like an internal like filter or something to help some of that stuff. Sure, it doesn't pick up some of that stuff.
Right.
Same thing with OBS. Like there's filters I've put into place that should help prevent some of that stuff from just getting picked up
Yeah, like
for recording.
that might like Yeti like the fucking cord
I
was
think there was
going
some issue.
bad.
Yeah, I think you'd had that Yeti for quite a few years, and I think you were just in a situation where your Yeti was just having some issues.
Yeah, 'cause by the time I replaced it, I think that Yeti was three and a half years old.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say like I had just gotten my Yeti, and you're like, oh, mine's a couple years old, and I'm like, maybe this Yeti's just going bad.
Yeah, like, and so like I went to Walmart. I'm like, I kind of want to get another Yeti, but all they had were the gimmick Yetis, like the PUBG edition Yeti
Yeah.
or the World of Warcraft edition Yeti, which is expensive as fuck because they come with the games that they're the
Hmm.
edition of. I'm like, I already have those games. I just want the Yeti. And then like they had this like really cheap ass like $60 mini Yeti, and I'm just like, no, no, it doesn't even have like half the options the actual Yeti has. Like, I'm not going that route. And then I was like looking at the Snowball, and it's like it was saying perfect for podcasting and video recording and just shit like that. And I'm just like, ooh, all right, I'll go with the Snowball. Somehow, I don't know how, but it's gotten dirty and it's not dust. I don't know where the fuck it all came from. I don't smoke inside anymore, so it can't be cigarette smoke.
It's could be. Let's see here. Could be like a fungus or something going on.
Oh God, no! Please don't say that.
Yeah, your wall is full of like nasty shit. Crack it open and you just see all the black mold.
Oh God, no, no, no.
Oh yeah.
And did I tell?
So intro time.
Intro.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the Garbage Media Podcast. I'll be your host today, Terry Moose.
And I am the other host, Bill, and I'm back from getting Chinese food.
Yeah, you were gone getting Chinese food for a really long time.
Hey man, I went far and wide for that. I love me some good Chinese.
Well, you're back now. That's the main thing. And today we're going to be
Talk
reviewing.
and talking about one of my personal favorites, Jason X.
I mean, we just skipped a bunch of Jasons, but this is fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's all the same. Hockey mask killer kills a bunch of teams, And
But
honestly,
this time he does it in space.
yes. And honestly, like, you just need to watch, like, in my opinion, the first three, maybe four Friday movies. Be good. After that, no. But so
It's kind of campy
yeah,
after a while.
yeah, it's kind of campy and kind of becomes a joke. But I don't know. In many regards, like Jason X, I don't want to say it was a good movie. I mean, I know a lot of people actually loved this movie. Out of all the Jason series, there's like apparently a big fan base for Jason X, just because there's a lot of like little Easter eggs and crap throughout the movie. But it's not the best. Why
Well,
bring?
they went full ham with it. They just like, well, we just had him around killing campers for like the last 20 years. We got to do something different.
I guess, but like, come on, like, I understand this was like this movie came out like kind of around the time where, ooh, like space things were kind of big. So, we like Jason goes to space, and then there's like at least two or three other horror movie icons that went to space, like Pinhead, Leprechaun. Thought there was another one, but why? Like, there's no feasible reason to do this.
They just wanted to put them in a new situation, and I guess they thought space was cool. I mean, I would have been fine with it, but it feels very ham-fisted how they get Jason to space at
Right?
the start of the movie. Well, I understand at the start this argument they're having about what to do with him since he is essentially and the one guy wants to you keep doing research and the scientist Rowan wants to just cryogenically freeze him until they can figure out a way to actually kill him.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, it makes sense to me. I understand this argument. You have this immortal being, what to do with it, and I get why they want to research him and figure out how to make like an more super soldier. That's worth a lot of money. I get it. It makes sense. I get their motivation for it. Still kind of dumb. At least I get why they were trying to freeze him. At least when on that end of things.
and so a lot of people will always like question, well, how is Jason always coming back from like being like chopped up, blown up, all this and that, and like I don't want to say he has superpowers, but he kind of does. Just from I can't remember which Friday movie it was, but he went up against this psychic that brought him back to life by accident, and that this is how he's able to, I guess, do what he does and keeps coming back.
I always kind of thought it was just kind of vague,
Yeah, like a lot of people.
which works. I
Yeah.
much prefer that they never come out straight out and say this is the exact reason. I much prefer there to be a certain amount of speculation
Right, like
about
it's
what
like
brings him back.
everything that people come up with of like why he keeps coming back or what keeps bringing him back, like it's all like people's theories, thoughts, ideas. Like there hasn't been any concrete evidence yet until like the actual creators of Jason are like, oh yeah, he's got superpowers, he's
It's better off they
supernatural.
just never.
Exactly.
It's better off they never explain. It keep it that way.
Because then you're gonna get, because so far Jason's the only horror icon that hasn't been, fucked by giving magical powers or demonic powers or cult powers. Like, but aside from that, so like people that would want to research him, that's just a bad idea, and I understand it's a common horror trope for this kind of situation. Oh, person can't die, goes on massive killing sprees every so many years or whatever.
Well,
Let's
he
figure this
essentially
out.
hasn't stopped.
Yeah,
Like the U.S. government is apparently aware of what Jason is, and that's why they've captured him because they want to study him.
yeah. And so, like, I understand wanting to study him, but do people not realize, hey, you could also study a being, especially if they're this far in advance where they want to put him into cryogenic hibernation? You could study him while he's fucking frozen.
That would make sense.
Like they have a computer on the probably somewhere that shows the vitals and all of that of the person that's frozen. So why not just be smart about it and just freeze him right the fuck away?
Don't
Like,
bring logic into this.
I'm sorry.
Dr. Weimer decided that he shouldn't be frozen. That's just how this works. We need that plot convenience of having the doctor be an idiot. That's like a normal trope. Doctor estimates something he's like observing and testing.
Yeah, like, and so like during this entire conversation, like there's a thing going on between the guard and Jason, which I found kind of funny because it's like I feel like it was like really the only actual comedic one of the comedic parts of the movie. It was just like just throws a fucking tarp over Jason, stare at this for a little while, you ugly bastard, and walks away.
You could tell this freak in the guard was a little freaked out.
Well,
by
yeah, I mean,
Jason like staring at him like that.
I mean, I would be too. I mean, fuck, an immortal being just staring me down. I'm like, no, I don't care how many chains are on the guy.
Apparently, there was a scene they cut that kind of explains how he escaped.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, there was. Because they wanted to try to keep it from getting like a hard 17 rating. They didn't clip that much, but there's like 2 or 3 different scenes where they just kind of out a little bit here or there to keep it under the hard 17 rating.
That would make sense.
Like, apparently, that was part of. There was a scene there that we kind of miss out a little bit on that explains how Jason's able to escape.
Yeah. At the same time, I'm kind of glad that they got it cut out because it just adds on to like the mystery of, well, how the fuck did he get out of there? I mean, like, he's chained up head to toe. Like, is he like some kind of Houdini or something? Like, I'm actually kind of glad that they left that out, but at the same time, I'm still really curious as to how he got out. Did he just like fucking brute force his way out of that shit,
I
or
believe he just Well, they had like they were giving him sedatives to stop him from having his strength, and I believe that somehow the needle got knocked out, and part of the
Oh.
scene they cut out.
That explains, like, in one of the scenes where he was still chained up, it looked like there's like something poking him in the back of the head or on the side
Yeah,
of the head. I
yeah,
I never actually caught that until I was watching it today. Like that that actually makes sense. Like, he'd be sedated, yeah.
but yeah, I believe that like the sedation needle or whatever falls out, and that's kind of allows him to gain his strength, and then he just rips the restraints off, and he kills the guy. I guess it was too bloody or something. Like I said, they had to avoid that 17 rating, so there's just a couple things that they trimmed in the movie. Like,
Makes sense, but like, honestly, like, if like they're gonna put movie, like, especially horror movie, if you're gonna like end up putting them up on streaming services or whatever, give us an option of like an uncut or unedited, version. Since it's online, typically,
yeah,
it's a little different.
a movie theater version, and then like a on cut version, like a director's cut or whatever you want to say for that you can watch
Yeah, or an
on your TV.
or an unrated. Like,
Yeah,
just give us that option.
it sounded like a cut. Like there was only 2 or 3 scenes like that where they did a little editing. It wasn't. They didn't have to like do a like cut like 10 minutes or something worth of content. They just had to snip a little bit here, a little bit there. Like I said, to keep it under that 17 rating, which is so dumb.
And
What they require for those things is silly.
I'm pretty sure I know what the other scene that was cut was, but we'll talk about that when we get to that point. But I think I know what other scene got cut.
Yeah. So he breaks free. He kills, just like murders all of the guards plus Doctor Weimer, and you can see the look on the doctor's face, surprised face. He's like, "Oh shit!" And I'm like, "What'd you think, dumbass?"
Right? I mean, like, honestly, the second you see, oh, he's not chained up anymore, fucking run.
I mean, he used to walk away, but he's like speed walking away. I don't know why. It's like, dude, just like bolt out of there as fast as you can. What are you doing walking away,
Right?
dumbass?
And don't run in a straight fucking line.
Yeah,
Zigzag.
what she did was kind of just go in a straight line,
Because
walk in the opposite direction quickly.
at least if you're like zigzagging or not running in a straight line, it's gonna be hard for Jason to throw that really pointy rod at you.
What surprises me is after like killing all those people, we see Rowan like show up. She sees like guard laying there in the way, and he's like half with the shotgun. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, what do you think's going on, you stupid bitch?
Right? He just got thrown out of the room that Jason was currently held in. And if he's saying run or get out of here, don't be like, why? And then look and then see all these other dead guards, and Jason's like standing right behind her. She just, slowly just turns and just like, shit. Grabs shotgun and starts running.
The thing is, it doesn't make sense because she'd been saying this whole time that they needed to cryogenically freeze him because he was too dangerous. And now she sees a situation that could obviously only be caused by him, and she's like, "Why is this happening?" It's like the one that knew. It felt like it was very dumb. Like the moment she saw the guard, she's like, "Fuck," and started running.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, "What's going on? What are you doing? Why are you lying there, guard?" It's like, no, don't make our main character, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
like an idiot. Don't have her do stupid shit like that.
I at least, like, when she was running, like, at least out of like all the quote unquote final girls that Jason has gone up against, at least she's the one that has technically outsmarted him.
Do you really want to call outsmarting when she just like hides in the cryogenic freezer room and waits for him to come in, and then just shoots him a couple times?
I mean, yeah,
knocking him into the cryogenic chamber.
So at least she was a little more resourceful. Like, well, yeah, she could have ran out and been like screaming her head off, and apparently her, that security guard, and the other doctor and the soldiers were apparently the only ones in this fucking facility.
And like I said, I noticed that there weren't very many lights on the facility, so I'm assuming they're just trying to save electricity at this government facility. I guess is what's going on. Like, why are all lights off?
Either that, or it's one of those facilities that is like deep undercover type of deal, and they're like, oh, we can't, let anybody know. Hey, we have Jason. Like somebody
What does that
might
have to do with them not having the lights on?
right, or sufficient amount of fucking security. Like, come on now.
Like the lot to it. So she gets him in the cryo chamber, shoots him a few times, and gets him into the cryo chamber, like cubicle.
Yeah.
Capsule.
Capsule.
That's the word I'm looking for. And then she closes and she presses the button and it starts to freeze him. And then she she's sitting there staring at him through the window. I'm like, why are you like, what are you doing? Why are you standing that close to him? This is dumb.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? And then he like stabs her because apparently he can just go through like inches of solid metal with his machete.
I mean, hey, like
he stabs her and he looks down. She's like, "Oh, I just got stabbed in my ab." Don't stand right next to serial killer.
Yeah, and hey, you got him in there. You turned on the machine. Just fucking leave.
Yeah, just leave. Just go to the door, close it up, close it behind you, call for help, whatever the hell it is you need to do. Why stand there and stare at him?
Yeah, see, it's not gonna fucking end well.
Like you're at the zoo, like staring at like the lions in the zoo. It's like, no. Like I said, it just makes some really stupid choices.
I mean, honestly, if I was in Jason's position, and instead of going through the metal and stabbing her in the abdomen, I would have just did one quick thrust straight through that glass.
That probably would have got him. I mean, it might have worked. But because of that, apparently it decides, like, we hear a computer in the background going, containment breach, and then it just seals the whole room.
Yeah.
For some reason, which doesn't really make sense to me. Like, the door automatically closes and everything gets sealed up. And I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
But why?
Like, and normally with, like, things like that, like, if there's people on the inside, there's usually a computer or a panel or something that's also on the inside of that room that would allow, if you need to get out,
we see her freak out and she tries to like press a button on the side of the capsule.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do anything, so I don't know if she was trying to make the door open or trying to stop the capsule from continuing the freezing process or what she was trying to do.
And I noticed one thing. Like, when Jason was slowly starting to get frozen, it looked like he was about ready to, like, try bashing his way out. Because, like, he was raising up his one arm. Like, he was going to do something. I'm kind of curious. Like, was he actually going to try to, like, bash his way out? Because I'm pretty sure if he tried or had enough time, he probably could have.
Yeah, most likely.
Because I've seen him bash through a lot heavier and thicker things over the years than that little cylinder door.
But now we're running another problem. Apparently, no one ever decided to come down and check to see what happened.
Right? Like, it should have been left abandoned.
Like, for literally hundreds of years, nobody shows up, which makes no sense to me. Like, as soon as the research facility stops sending out, like nobody, they were receiving no information, nobody was talking to them. Someone should have gone to investigate. I don't secret the facility is. They get their money and their funding from somewhere. Someone's going to be like, why hasn't anyone talked to us for a while? They would have sent somebody down there to investigate what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it wouldn't have been one of those things where it's just like, oh, well, maybe whatever happened, like, maybe Jason, for all we know, could have taken out everybody that could have been, remotely important, and then he was like, I'm gonna go after Rowan.
The problem is Weimer was obviously talking to people.
Yeah,
he was in talks, negotiation talks to what to do with Jason. So they weren't the only people that knew. There were obviously people outside the facility who knew what they were doing. So at some point, someone should have been like, huh,
why haven't we received Jason yet?
Yeah, where's Jason at? Weimer said he was going to drop him at our facility, like with the tests, like samples or something. It just makes no sense. Never shows up. It's like, to me, that's the biggest plot hole. I'm like, you need to explain why nobody ever fucking showed up to. Nobody left that building. These people have families, don't they?
Exactly.
What's going on here?
Like they had to have some kind of family or relative or something along
And
those
not
lines.
just that, but like I said, just the government itself. The government has the secret facility. Nobody is responding to them when they call in. They're gonna send a SWAT team or something down there. They're not just gonna be like, well, I haven't heard anything from those guys for like the last year. I guess that's normal.
Right.
Nobody investigate anything. It's the big plot hole for me. Like I'm fine with the rest of it, but the fact that they apparently never sent anybody down to figure out what went wrong just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, like that was my one issue, and like, you know,
Like I said, I can get past a lot of some of this other like silly stuff, but that to me it was too much, and it really pulled me out of the movie. I'm like, shut up. This is beyond plot convenience. So like it's beyond what I can stand
yeah.
for plot convenience.
I mean, see, like that is one of my issues that I actually have with this movie. Like, don't get me wrong, if it's on, I'll sit down and I'll fucking watch the movie just because I'm a Jason fan. Well, more specifically, a Kane Hodder fan. Kane Hodder, best Jason. But
if you, I can get past most of it because I'm fine with like it's a very B movie ish horror film, and I'm like I'm fine with this, and I accept that people do stupid things in horror films, like when Rowan doing that stupid stuff. I'm like, okay, she's stupid shit, but that's what a character's supposed to do. So although I complain about it, it's just what you do in those movies. It's this lazy with nobody ever going to investigate what happened that pisses me off. Because for plot convenience, I feel like they need, even if it was just like a throwaway line, like nobody knows we're down here. That's how secret this is. Or I mean, something.
Yeah, just give us something as to why this facility
Like
went untouched for 400 years.
Yeah, it's like it was 400 years. Nobody shows up. Because then we have the fast forward to the future thing, like it's the year 20 5455 or
2455.
Yeah, 2455, and it's like okay, and there's like some professor, and he's bringing these kids on a field trip.
Yeah.
And I guess when you bring kids on a field trip, you go into old government research facilities.
Guess so. I mean that makes sense to me, honestly. Like I'd do the same thing.
I mean, I guess. But they're wearing like hazmat suits and they get down there and then they find like the sealed room, they open it up, and then like the one guy says, oh, there's not much going on. I don't see what was it? Like bugs or like germs or anything. I'm like, well no shit, dumbass. This room's been sealed for 400 years and everything's frozen.
Yeah. And so like, it would literally be like at this point in time, the cleanest place and the most sanitized place on Earth. Yeah, yes. Aside from the girl that bled out 400 years ago.
I guess they wouldn't know that. They didn't probably know at the time that it would have been sealed for that long until they find the bodies of both Jason and Rowan in there.
Yeah, like what? I can never remember his name. What is the fucking long-haired kid's name?
I don't know.
Like I want to say it's like Alex or something like that.
All I know is I don't know why he's on this field trip because I thought these were supposed to be college student, and this kid looks very much like a school kid.
Right.
Like he doesn't look nearly old enough to be on this field trip for these college students. I'm like, why is this kid here?
Yeah, and like, granted, like he's basically the comedic relief for the fucking movie.
It does feel like they're trying to have him do like jokes and stuff.
Like
when he tries to pick up the cup after they're like, nobody touch anything. He picks up the cup, but then it freezes to his hand. Then he's like pretending like he wasn't touching anything. And keeps messing around, and then he gets his arm chopped off when he accidentally knocks over Jason, which felt a little bit silly.
What sounds silly was when KM gave him 500 milligrams of epinephrine. I think it was.
She gave him some pretty strong like drugs to deal with the pain or whatever, and he was high as a kite.
He's like, that's not gonna fucking help. My fucking arm's missing. Hey, my arm. Flap, flap, flap. Like, what the hell?
It felt like they were trying to make it funny or something.
It
didn't quite work.
It just sounded like a very unsafe amount that was given to a very skinny, kind of lanky dude.
Hey man, are you a doctor? Are you a future space doctor?
No, by all means, I'm not. I'm just saying it didn't sound like a healthy, amount.
Well,
Like
she's a space doctor and you're not. Accept it.
she's a space cyborg or android. Both android. Well, she's all robot.
No, okay, that was the was it? I can't remember. Yeah.
But like
Was it her that gave it? Was it KM? I thought she was back on the ship.
no, KM gave it to
I
him.
wasn't paying attention.
She was like, here, 500 cc's of epinephrine or something along those lines. Then he started freaking out. He's like, what's that gonna do for me? I just lost my freaking arm. And she injects it, and he just gets all loopy.
It's dumb. It's a dumb scene. It was not necessary. They just want a little bit of blood and gore, but then they don't even kill the kid anyway. So
Yeah.
they bring him back to spaceship because apparently Earth has been
Dead for hundreds of
dead
years.
for a while, which I can't because of pollution or something.
Maybe
They
that's the
never really
reason nobody searched the facility. Like, shortly after this happened, all hell went
and we were
loose.
forced to flee.
Yeah.
I it feels, but this like took place in like 2010 or whatever.
Yeah, 2010.
Is when the movie took place. Like our space technology wasn't there, so if this happened like right afterward, had this big disaster, like I don't know, feels a bit of a stretch. Like if, I feel like the disaster would have taken. I mean, you know what? Fine, I'll go with it. Fine, we'll use that as our thing. Everything goes to shit. They just don't have enough time to check on things because of pollution or global warming or where the fuck. But they never say that though. They never give that throwaway line in here, obviously because of back at this time.
The only thing they say is that the soil and water have died and they can't sustain life anymore.
But we have the technology to travel through space, apparently, to like other solar systems, but we can't bring Earth back.
And
fine.
And like I understand that, Earth can't sustain life anymore, but even on dead planets, like it would still, at least rain. So I don't see why it was just one big constant dust storm the entire time.
It's just where they're at. But
like
I'm not gonna argue with them. Fine, we'll go with it. Like Earth went to shit like right after this happened, conveniently, and everyone was forced to flee to space. And so they go to Grindel, which is the name of the ship, and they're like, "Oh, we can revive Ro."
Yes.
And then they're like, "Cool." And they're like, "Well, what do I do with this? With the guy with the hockey mask?" And they're like, he's super dead. Go put him in the morgue. You can." And the one girl starts dissecting him.
Oh yeah. I still don't get why she actually cut off Mask and why.
Yeah.
I understand over the years, like the mask fused to his face and head,
which is why she had to use the scalpel to literally cut off the skin around the edge of the mask to remove it.
But literally, I understand. I know this is this only happens once every movie, but ever since he got that hockey mask, that mask has either been taken off once or it's been completely cracked open and destroyed.
Not that expensive to get a new hockey mask. I'm sure you can just murder somebody and take one.
I guess, but I'm just saying I don't see how this mask is actually fused to his head, but then again I'm not sure which actual Jason they're going with at this point in time for the movie.
We don't need to know.
But yeah, she cuts off the mask and she lifts it up and she looks and she's like, well, that's why I can see why you wear this mask all the time. And then she literally puts it back down and she applies some force. So you just hear it kind of squish back on. And then did she take out his one eye?
Yeah, she ripped out one of his eyes because the doctor Lowe was saying something about looking at the cerebral imaging or something from the eye. Really understand? It sounded like sci-fi bullshit.
Yeah.
And in the other room, they're reviving Rowan using their sciencey stuff.
Nanotechnology.
Future sciencey stuff. And she gets revived, and they're like, oh yeah, you're 20, 40, 55. And she's like, what? but she did well actually.
Yeah, surprisingly, like if I
Like
was
you
in
would
that
have thought she would
situation,
have
like
had
fuck.
you would have thought she'd had like a breakdown or like cry or something. She's just like, oh,
Or at least been a little
okay.
hysterical.
Yeah, you would have thought she would have just like been. I mean, I would have been freaking out if I had been like went to bed and I'd gotten stabbed. I'm like, oh, it's the end, and then suddenly I wake up and I'm surrounded by a bunch of weird people, and they're like, yeah, it's been like 400 years. Surprise, you're not dead. I'd be like, what the
Like,
fuck?
yeah, like
Everybody I know is everyone I love is dead. I'm on a freaking spaceship, and she's just totally chill with it.
yeah. I mean, well, yeah. When she first woke up, she like palmed Doctor Lowe or Professor Lowe or whatever, because like she. And honestly, it was kind of a very delayed reaction, because like she was already looking around and seeing all these other people. And he was already saying, stay calm, you're okay, everything's okay, you're fine." And she sees him, and then it's like a second later, she's just like, ah, and fucking just smacks him across the face.
Like I said, she just never. You'd think she would have had to have some time to just cope with everything, but she's just like super cool about it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh yeah, so what happened to Jason?" And they're like, "Oh, we got his body over there in the." He's like, well,
What?
that's a bad idea."
Oh no, no, no! Don't worry, he's dead. We know he's dead. We scanned
Yep,
him.
super dead. Scanned him. No way he's coming back. It's like, but you brought her back to life. How can you 100% guarantee there's no way to bring him back? But future sciencey shit, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Love's trying to figure out how to make money off of this situation, because apparently he's in like super deep debt, and so he decides that Jason would be a good way for him to make some.
Yeah. Well, once he actually finds out, 'cause he contacts one of his associates, I think.
Yeah, some
Well,
guy on
I
like the
don't.
space station.
I don't think we were ever actually given a name of who he was.
I don't know if he did. I don't know. All I know is he talks to him. I'm sure the guy had a name and it was mentioned, but
Yeah.
he only talks to him for like 2 or 3 minutes.
And like like Lo is telling him about like who they found, and he's like, "Oh, big whoop! A girl that's up and walking around, she's over 400 years old. Big whoop! You know how many people out there are like that nowadays?" And so forth and so forth. And then he mentions, "Well, I found this other dude who's dead, but he's wearing a hockey mask and whatnot, and I think his name is Voorhees."
What I found strange is apparently they knew that he was Voorhees, because the other guy's like, "Oh, you mean Jason Voorhees?" I'm like, is this man really that freaking famous that like
Right?
400 years later people would still remember who he was?
Exactly. Like if that was the case, the second they saw him down in that fucking cryogenics chamber, they would be like, oh, "That's Jason Voorhees." Like it.
Because remember, most of them, only one person recognized that he was wearing a hockey mask. They're like, "What's on his face? What is that? Is that like a respirator or like a
Yeah.
or something like that?" And one goes like, "Don't be an idiot, hockey mask." I'm like, so I mean, if he's supposed to be that famous, that like this dude on the spaceship, other spaceship, Solaris, knew exactly who he was apparently instantly,
Yeah.
then why don't these college kids recognize him if he's like the boogeyman?
And like
If he's like Jack the Ripper level of, like renownedness, you think they would have recognized the hockey mask.
well, the one thing that I kind of found funny, at least I found it kind of funny, was when they were like actually talking about the hockey mask, and KM was like, "Yeah, it was facial protection for a game called hockey way back when, and but it was outlawed in 2024." Now, I'm kind of curious as to how it got outlawed, but I just found that kind of funny personally.
Well, it was a throwaway line.
Yeah, and kind of makes me wonder, like 2024 is only 3 years away.
Well, I guess we'll find out in 2024.
But yeah, like I found that kind of funny. But
So they're talking to Rowan, and she's arguing with. She made arguments. They don't believe. And Jason then starts to come back to life as he's been thawing. And he does this because 2 of the college kids are having sex, and apparently, that's like Jason's like coffee in the morning, I guess. The best part of wake.
it's like the second
Because like the moment start getting smoosh starts, like he instantly bolts upright, like someone on this having sex, must kill them.
But first, I'm gonna take care of this bitch that took my eye. Then
Yeah,
again,
that was my favorite kill of the movie was when he kills Adrian.
oh yeah,
And he grabs her and she's like freaking out and he like brings over to the liquid nitrogen and just pushes her head into it. That was so cool. And she's all frozen and then he just smashes her head into the table.
like honestly, like
And
that
it
is my
breaks
like,
apart. That was really cool.
yeah, that kill out of all the Friday movies, that would probably have to be my favorite. Just because,
That was one of the scenes they actually did because apparently there was more to that. Like they show it longer, like with her like bits and pieces of her like head and everything. Because if you notice, that cuts really fast after he smashes her head into
yeah,
the and he lifts it up. We see it for like a second. Apparently, the cut it was a lot longer that we get to see just the blood mess of her that was like her head.
huh?
So they cut that down a little bit. Like I said, that 17 rating, like, oh, you can show up, but you just can't show up for more than like 2 seconds.
Like
Okay.
I think I actually remember seeing that scene be longer. Then again, I think I actually managed to watch like an unrated version at one point in time.
There might be one, but yeah,
Cause,
I know that was something
but
that they trimmed down.
but like even just like rewatching the movie, there was parts and I'm like, I I don't remember this at all. Like I don't remember this ever happening.
It's been like I didn't watch the movie in probably like 10 years, so I was just like I can't remember what happened. I just remember the space.
Like I tend to watch this movie at least once a year if I'm able to. I don't know why. I hate the movie so much. I hate it. But like I'll sit down and I'll watch it. I'll fucking watch it because it's it's part of the Friday franchise, and if I'm like doing a Friday the 13th marathon, I gotta include it. So, but no, like that kill is my favorite out of all
Like I said,
the
it was the
franchise.
best. It was so good. I loved it.
And then like Rowan's like still arguing with Lola, and she's like, "Okay, show me then."
Yep.
And then it just cuts to a fucking body bag zipping up.
Yep. It's like, oh, that was great. That was actually well done right there. I like that. It just shows the body bag. It's like in the deep shit now, kids.
Like, fuck.
And then we get to see Sergeant Brodsky.
I thought it was Briggs. Oh no, Brodsky. Yeah, Brodsky, because he was playing that one game.
Well, Brodsky, they talk to Brodsky, and Brodsky's like, is told that he needs to take his soldiers and deal with Jason, and he's arguing with Lowe.
Oh yeah.
What to do because Lowe's like, I'll give you a bunch of money if you don't kill Jason, and he's like, okay. And I love when he gets to the rest of the troops, and they're like, so what are we doing? He's like, well, I promised the doc you would bring him back alive, and they're like, oh, and he's like, we'll bring him back what's left of his legs and say we tried. I like that.
Yeah, like
that was pretty good because yeah, Brodsky's not fucking around.
I like him. Like
yeah, Brodsky's I think my favorite character because he doesn't do anything really stupid. Like he make good choices for the most part. Like he's trying to make sure everyone lives. He keeps busy, shit trying to stop Jason. He feels like the only person that's actually like a real threat to Jason.
Yeah, and like the one thing I actually kind of love is like before like they were getting the soldiers together and everything, and Rowan's sitting there telling Lowe about Jason and like how dangerous he is, and Brodsky's just like in the background at a computer or whatever, just listening to this, and you could see his facial expressions of like, what the fuck did this guy just bring onto my ship?
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially when Rowan's like, he's killed over 200 people, and Brodsky's just like, all right, I got to get my men. Like I enjoy it. Like I'll say this, Jason X is able to put in that quick kind of humor in there, but it doesn't really take away from the horror aspect.
Mm-hmm. And so then they decided to try to get everyone to gather up, but like there's the kid and Dallas. Dallas was the name of the soldier. They were in there playing that.
Oh yeah.
Holodeck.
Yeah.
I actually like Holodeck.
Right? Like I wish we actually had something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
We'll give it time.
Like,
we will in our lifetimes probably have something close to that. But I thought it was pretty. I liked it. It was a little fun, little cheeky thing because Jason has no idea what this is. Like he's very confused
Yep.
by this, so he's just like monsters and like kills them, but because they're not real avatars,
Yeah. He
he's
just
just like he's like what the. You can just tell Jason's a little like like I cut this guy in half, and he's just like keeps talking.
right. Like what's
And the
going
kid's like
on?
that's not a kid. He didn't kill me. The guy's like, no, you're dead, bro.
Gets
They haven't
decapitated.
realized. Yeah, they haven't realized at all what's going on, which confuses because you think when they like that big call out to the whole ship, like even if they are in the game room, they would have heard it, but
Right. Like
I guess not. So then they try to close the program, but Jason's still there, and they look at each other like, what the f? What's going on here? And then Jason goes to kill the kid, and like Dallas is like, he's like, no kid, get out of here.
and then the kid just stupidly just
Yep.
jumps on Jason like I got him.
He's like,
I got
I
him.
got him. I'm on his back. I got him. I'm like, this kid, how is he still alive? I don't know at this point in the movie, honestly. He's just made one stupid decision after another.
Right. And I kind of wish they would have been a little more creative with how Jason kills him because like all he does is just take him off, cracks his back, and then just tosses him aside.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like that wouldn't instantly kill him. Like he would still be alive technically. Just not sure how much mobility he would actually have.
Well, this is the future. They got all that sciencey stuff. They could have found the kid and like gave him the nanomachines and brought him back. But
Right? Like if they
I
were
guess he's just
yeah, like just one little crack dead. Like what did you like just like completely crush his rib cage and everything inside him in that one little
yes. So then Ellis also gets killed, but by this time I believe Brodsky's shown up with his team, and this is where Brodsky I would say makes the one mistake. You know, classic horror movie mistake. He splits up the team to go find Jason.
Yeah.
It's like that's a bad idea.
When he was assigning teams, did you catch the one little Easter egg that was said? Because like the guy that went with Brodsky, he's like, "You got the BFG, right?" And the guy's like, "Yeah."
Gee.
He's like, "All right, you're with me." And I'm like, "Oh, cool, Doom reference."
Yeah.
Unless that's just like a normal thing in the future.
No, I think it was definitely Doom reference. But they split up into pairs. Is that what it was supposed to be?
Yeah, it was supposed
Like
to be pairs, and then
two-man teams.
yeah, it was like supposed to be 2-man teams or something like that. Because there was like 9 of them, 8 of them, something like that. There was a lot of them, so he's like 2-man team. They went to sweep the cargo deck, I guess.
But the two-man teams, I don't think were really sticking close together enough because if you know Jason starts picking them off one by one.
Yeah, just first guy that gets picked off, Jason's just all fucking stealth ops about it. Just grabs him, cracks his neck real quick, and then fucking just disappears. And it's like, whoa, Jason put points into stealth.
Yep. He became a stealthy boy.
What were some of the other kills? Because like, there's only like really like 2 or 3 kills in that scene or in the cargo
guy
hold.
that gets screwed,
Oh yeah, dude, just
falls in that screw and starts spinning around on it.
I-
That was actually one of the edited scenes. Apparently, it lasts a lot longer when he goes down
oh yeah.
the screw, like all the way down it. Like it shows the whole thing. But they edited some of that out, you know, for the N17 to avoid the N17. Apparently, you can show a guy screwed, but not for like 15 seconds. These ratings are so silly.
Well, you know what I thought would have been kind of funny, like for like the whole scene of the dude going down the screwdriver or the drill, like it just like shows Jason like standing there just watching it as he's slowly just spinning down, and then Jason walks away. And there was another Easter egg with that kill too, like when Jason pushes him off onto the drill, like if you're not paying attention, you won't quite see it. But Jason also does like the Michael Myers head tilt kind of, but instead of to the right, he does it to the left, and then he goes back, and then he leaves. I noticed that when we were I got excited. Kane Hodder just throwing in these little fucking horror movie things. I liked it.
So now pretty much all of them are dead.
Yeah.
By this point, even Brodsky gets stabbed. And when he gets stabbed, he's just like, "That's not enough to kill me." And then Jason stabs him again with the second
with his knife.
with his knife. Yeah, and it's
He's
like,
just like, oh yeah, that'll do it.
yeah.
But
Everyone else is freaking out because it's just the civilians left at this point.
yeah, Rowan, Low,
College kids that haven't been killed yet.
yeah. Like I honestly, like I don't even like bother to
I don't remember their names.
Yeah.
They're just there to be killed.
They're fodder.
But now they're almost to Solaris, which is the space station they're going to dock at. And the pilot's all like sitting there, it's like, God damn it, I knew this was a bad idea to bring a serial killer on. He's just like bitching up a storm. A voice of reason.
Yes.
Right here.
Voice of reason. And like honestly, I feel we didn't talk much about the pilot. And the pilot was honestly like the few scenes he had were just basically comedy in a sense. Like it's not like, you know, when Jason first got loose, everybody's like, there's a serial killer on the loose, and he's just like, the hot girl?
Yep.
Like, he's been up in this cockpit. Nobody's really telling him anything. Like, he just knows, oh, there's a killer on the loose, okay. Like, he wasn't told to, like, hey, get on autopilot and, like, barricade your door shut or something.
Yeah, they didn't tell him shit. The only thing he got was told that he needs to get to Solaris and dock the ship.
Yeah, where supposedly Solaris would be able to take care of the situation. But no, and then, you know, he's just like sitting there, he's like talking to Solaris, gets done, and they're like wanting like a confirmation code, or he's waiting on a confirmation code or landing code. And then you just see Jason's knife just shining in the light. Oh, machete, surgical cleaver.
Surgical tool. I don't think he doesn't have his machete back.
No, like it's kind of like a machete, but it's more of a cleaver, surgical cleaver, whatever. And then he just looks up and he's just like, oh shit. And they just all the fucking college kids and Low and Rowan, they just hear the pilot screaming. And I'm assuming his kill was also edited out too.
I don't know. It might have been.
Because, you know, once, you know, Jason starts chasing them, the college kids, and like they.
You gotta remember though that with the pilot dead now, they crash into Solaris.
Yeah, that's right. Jason's biggest kill, if you want to get technical.
Yeah, I don't know how many people are on Solaris, but a bunch of people died. Like at least hundreds of people, maybe even thousands of people die.
Yeah,
because Jason killed the pilot.
Yep, and totally gonna give it to him. He earned those kills. But yeah, like he just straight up like mutilates the fucking pilot. Like,
yeah, we get to see it in a scene later, like body parts are laying up on where the pilot used to be, and it's like, wow, Jason did not mess around with that one.
Right? Like honestly, I want to say like that was probably like one of his like most gruesome kills. Like most of his kills just stabbings and
I'll just stab
shit like
and
that.
Just move along. Yeah. That one, like he just met guy.
Yeah, like just straight up like something like snapped him or something. He's like, I really don't like this guy. Just fucking tears him apart. Like
with the pilot dead, with all of the, I guess you could say, like guards dead now. He shows up at the lab and starts trying to break down the door.
Yep.
And they're like, it's okay, he can't get through the door. It's like he's gonna get through somehow, and then he breaks in through like the window or something next to that room.
Yeah, like he goes into like the lab that's like right next door and just jumps straight through that thick frosted glass. Like
everyone freaks out, they all out, and then they're all like, "Oh, everyone's safe, right?" And they're like, "Oh, shit, Low didn't make it out of there," which doesn't really make sense. Why he didn't run out of the room with everybody else?
Right, but like
what kind of idiot?
I mean, like if you look at it, like when it goes to Low and Jason, like where Jason jumped through, it was like looks like it was like right behind Low, and so like he was like kind of I guess blocking the stairs. But at that point, I would have jumped over the fucking railing.
I still would have tried to make a run for it.
Yeah,
so he just stands there and starts trying to argue with Jason. Be like, a lot of money or something, bro. And then Jason just like reaches behind him and picks up his machete, because that's why he came to that room, was to get his machete back.
Yeah. "Hey guys, it's okay, it's okay. He just wanted his machete back."
Yeah, what an idiot. And then you hear him screaming as Jason, like, murders him. It's like, what do you think was going to happen, you retard?
Like, come on now. Do you really?
But by this point, is this when you find Sergeant Brodsky?
Uh, no, they go to like the.
That's a little later, right?
Yeah, it's a little later. They go like right now, like
Because first they try to go to the shuttle, isn't it, to escape? Because they're
yeah,
like, oh, we can just go to the shuttle.
yeah, like they devise a plan to get like to go get the shuttle evac shuttle ready, and so Crutch and this other guy, I think Winston or Wilson, something like that. I think it starts with a W. Go up to the cockpit because you got to do something from the cockpit and then from the terminal and then from inside the shuttle itself.
Yeah, a bunch of steps you gotta follow to
like,
get the shuttle released.
Which kind of just seems like plot convenience some way. Like,
just to get these guys killed.
Yeah, just we gotta split them up, you know.
Yeah.
And so Crutch goes up to the cockpit.
They find the dead body, but then they get murder hoboed.
Well, they're fine for like a little bit. Like, I don't know what Jason's doing during this period of time, but then
he's probably sharpening his machete.
The Rowan and the two girls go towards the shuttle, and that's when Rowan discovers Brodsky, and she goes back to where the girls are, and she's like, "Hey, I found Brodsky, but I can't move him on my own. Are the guys back yet?" And so Crutch sends the one dude away. And he's getting everything all nice and ready, you know. It's like everything's good on my end, and then it's just girls need to do the stuff on their end, kind of deal. And then the one guy meets up with Rowan, and Brodsky's gone. And he just kind of disappeared. I mean, Rowan said, "Hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some help." Like, come on, like she was gone like what, 5 minutes. And
like that.
And Brodsky just disappears. So you're thinking, ooh, maybe Jason got him. Maybe Jason went back. No. Jason scares the shit out of Crutch with Lowe's head.
Oh yeah, he's like carrying around for some reason.
Just on his machete, just
yeah.
Lowe's head.
Just sees this as a chance to just fuck with this guy.
Crutch sees him, he's like, oh shit, he's scared. Oh shit! You realize the decapitated head, then that's when things take major turn for the worse.
They already weren't good.
No, but like the shit just goes south really quick after this.
Yeah, because Kinsey actually just panics and tries to fly off with the shuttle.
Yeah.
And they're like yelling at her like, "Kinsey, the fuel lines are still attached. Open that damn door and stop being a stupid bitch."
Yeah. And honestly, like, all the way up to this point, she's been basically a basket case.
Yeah,
she because like her boyfriend got fucking killed right in front of her. Like, she's freaking out, and then she's hearing all these other people dying, and they're like, "Hey, Kenzie, go into you be the one to go into the shuttle and get it ready."
Yeah, what could go wrong?
Fuck that! I'd have one of the other people that are a little more competent, a little more mentally stable in there, and have her at the fucking board at the door.
And at what point had we seen Kinsey actually show she can fly a shuttle in the first place? Why put her in there?
Exactly. And even if she could, in the mental state that she's in, I wouldn't want her flying. But then again, I also think Crutch was also supposed to be the one that flies the shuttle, because
I think he kind of was, yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, he dies, and I guess that's why Kinsey panicked. Like, oh shit, we lost our only other pilot, or our last pilot, and she's just freaking out and scared of
buttons.
Yeah. And you just watch that shuttle just try to fly off, but goes right back up into the
yeah, because it's still attached. Like I said, the fuel line's still attached, and it causes that to explode.
Yep.
Which kind of like makes me go, how did one else not die? Because I thought they were like right outside the door to the bay.
They were.
So it's like, when this thing exploded, how did not?
right? Like
Because
you'd think there would have been
this would have
some,
exploded like right next to the hangar.
yeah, like
Plot convenience.
like
Then it doesn't kill everybody.
and I mean, if you want to get technical, like the explosion would have actually happened like right up underneath the area that they were that everybody was actually in. Like when the shuttle exploded, it was going up at an angle. So like yeah, it's like that whole area would have just been straight up fucked. Unless it's the whatever. I'm not gonna get into all the science fiction crap.
Like I said, plot convenience. Nobody dies from that explosion.
Yeah, and oh,
But now we get the robot, and the cyborg lady, gets an upgrade from her boyfriend,
we'll just go with creator.
creator. There's something going on between them though.
Well, of course. I mean, he was trying to put nipples on her.
Well,
Magnetic
she's the one that
nipples.
she wanted the nipples.
Oh
and
yeah,
he's
I
like, "You
guess.
find the way.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah,
But like, she gets a, in his words, an upload. I'm guessing he had a little fun.
I'm just assuming it was kind of like a Matrix thing. He downloaded like a program into her so she could like use kung fu and knew how to like use guns and stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because when Jason shows up, she just like pulls out a couple guns and just like murders him.
Yeah,
Absolutely murders him.
I kind of love the fake out she does with him. You know, like he like just throws his machete dead accurately, like straight through her chest, and she's like just crumples to the ground basically. And like she's just waiting for him to get close.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think anybody's ever like baited Jason in that way, kind of deal.
That's because those people aren't cyborg. Yeah. So when they took that machete to the chest, they died.
True, but like I actually kind of liked that. And then she just goes like, for the lack of a better term, she just goes Rambo on Jason, like fucking guns and punches and kicks, and she kind of blew him apart.
Yeah, there's body parts laying around.
Like,
so I guess Jason's dead now. The world has been saved. And Brodsky is brought back to life using the nanite machinery or whatever it is to heal the wounds he has. Everything seems great, and they send out some distress signal and set charges, explosive charges, to remove the damaged part of the ship from the main section. Because if they do that, it's supposed to not like stop them from exploding or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so something along those lines where like
sciencey bullshit they need to do to stop them from dying before the rescue shuttle shows up.
Yeah, like, and
but if you look closely, when Jason was killed, he falls into like the
old
one that was like used to like reconstruct people.
Yeah.
And because Jason is Jason, the nanites are able to like merge with his body, and now we end up with like a Jason.
Uber Jason.
Yes,
yeah, he actually has a name.
Yeah, I know they call it Uber Jason. I'm calling it Mecha Jason, kind of like Godzilla, like Godzilla. Like we have Godzilla and then we Mecha Godzilla, so now we have Mecha Jason.
Honestly, I like Mecha Jason better than Uber Jason.
I think my name is cooler.
Because technically Uber Jason is Ultra Jason, and that just doesn't sound right.
Even, like I said, Mecha Jason sounds a lot cooler to me.
And honestly,
I'll refer to him now as Mecha Jason for the rest of our discussion.
And honestly, like after Jason's upgrade, like that's where a lot of people actually had an issue, was like it didn't look like Jason anymore, and I'm like, well, that's kind of the point. I actually like the Mecha Jason. He looks fucking more menacing and badass.
He's pretty metal after he transforms.
Yeah,
pun intended.
Like, and like just the brute, like he had brute force before, like now he's just godly.
Yeah, he's pretty much unstoppable. We see it when he comes back, and the cyborg lady tries to shoot him, and then she's like, "Oh, oh, because the bullets are just bouncing off, like she's dealing no damage. And she's like, everyone should probably run.
And then
And then Jacen like walks right up to her and just punches her head right off, like instantly.
yeah, like, and then the one dude's like, "Oh, KM!" He grabs her head and just starts running away, and they're like, they run out of the door and they close it because this was before the bridges got blown, and the one dude like
Waylander has the
Waylander.
He has the explosive charges.
I knew his name started with a W. Like, he ends up, like, getting Mecha Jason's attention, and he blows the detonators.
Separating that part of the ship from the other part of the ship. And
Yeah.
But Jacen just doesn't give a shit.
Nope. Jacen, he must have been, like, latching on to some kind of wall or something.
Well, he's Mecha Jacen. Mecha Jacen to Mecha Jacen 1.
Did and you know, like, he gets to finally test out his newfound strength. He literally just punches straight through the hull of the ship, creating an air breach. Okay.
I mean, he can do that. He can just do that now because he's Mecha Jacen. And that's when Janice dies, and I'm like, good. I never liked Janice anymore.
Yeah, I think Janice is like, she was just kept around long enough for eye candy, just like what she's wearing, basically.
I suppose.
Because like she really didn't contribute anything. At least Brodsky,
just...
you know, had his military. Rowan has her knowledge of Jacen and what to do and how to survive.
By this point, I believe this is when the shuttle shows up, the evacuation shuttle, to save them.
Yep.
But the door that would attach to the shuttle, like, the power failed. And so Brodsky has to go jump in one of the space suits, go outside, and like fix it from outside.
Yep. And like, I understand given the lack of people, but putting Rowan on a job where she has to help Brodsky open up the doors, like it's her first day in 2455, and she's already had to deal with a psychopathic maniac killer that is Jacen, and now she has to take a crash course on futuristic doors.
Apparently,
like, if I was in that situation, I would be very overwhelmed. Like,
I like what they do here though, because they're like, we got to distract Jacen until we get this door opened up. And so they use the hologram simulator to create Crystal Lake.
Crystal Lake 1985.
Yes, Crystal Lake 1985. And then we get to see those two attractive young women. They're like, "We're gonna have marital sex." And I'm like, this is intentional at this point. They're very self-aware of the tropes.
Yeah.
And they're just going full ham with it, and I loved it. It was hilarious. I love that. We're having marital sex. Tee hee. Fucking hilarious. And they just lay down and get in their little like
sleeping bags.
Sleeping bag. It's so good. And then Jacen pick up one of the sleeping bags and just start blowing the other girl with the girl in the sleeping bag he has. And I'm like, this is some good shit. I love it.
So supposedly in if I remember correctly, I believe in the unrated version, that scene is actually a lot longer. Because I remember it being longer, unless I'm actually mistaking it for the actual kill that was an homage to. Because in one of the previous Friday movies, he actually just picks up a sleeping bag and just with somebody in it and just starts beating him against a tree. So it's kind of a nod to one of his previous kills.
Oh no, I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious. And it's also, like, my other favorite kill in this movie.
Yeah, it was pretty solid, even though they were holograms.
Yeah, yeah, not real people, but...
I just like that they once again used the holographic simulate again. I felt like that was a great use for it, to get it a second use out of it. Since, you know, it's a great tool. I thought it was good that they used it again.
Oh, yeah. And, like, that... It was a great scene, mainly just because, like, it was one of those things for long time Friday the 13th fan. like the second that scene came up, everybody was basically just like, "Oh, they actually did it!" And but they really should have maybe like programmed some more, I don't know, distractions in there.
Yeah, I kind of felt like he's like, oh no, Jason is done killing teenagers. What do we do now? It's like just make some more holograms,
Right?
can't you?
Like I understand the hole is slowly blowing up and it's getting closer and closer to them, but come on, like you had the time, you could have maybe like made a few more like holograms and whatnot, because like even the one guy's like, wow, he went through those campers pretty quick.
Yep.
He's a seasoned serial killer. Do you really think two campers that are just laying down gonna really take him that long?
Not really, but it worked out because the door gets fixed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then like the explosions start getting worse.
Well, they all run over to go to the other ship, and then they realize, like, wait a minute, where's Brodsky at? And he went back in to stop Jason.
Yep. And then the ship.
Well, the pontoon explodes.
Yep, the pontoon just boom.
Yeah, and then we just see Jason like flying right at the ship they're on to escape, and they're like, "You gotta be kidding me!" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. The explosion happens to hurl him right directly at where they're going."
Right. And then just like out of nowhere, Brodsky comes from the side.
From the side, which makes no sense.
Like what?
Space perspective, like he should have died in explosion. Whatever.
Like I could understand like if he was still like outside of this like ship and he wasn't inside. Right next
to Jason when it exploded.
Like how did he go from going into like head-on collision with Jason to all of a sudden coming from nowhere and just, unless his suit had like a jetpack on it, we just never saw it.
His suit did have a jetpack, but it still seems somewhat of a stretch that
that
for himself perfectly like that. But whatever.
Yeah, it's like
he's a space marine or some shit. We'll go with it.
Yep, fuck it. Plot armor.
Brodsky manages to grab Jason and pull him towards Earth 2's atmosphere.
Yes.
Which I guess is where they're at. I mean, actually say that's Earth 2, but it must be Earth 2.
Well, in one of the scenes, like like when they are like crashing into Earth and it like goes to those campers.
Earth
2. There's actually a sign that says Crystal Lake.
Yeah, which is a little strange that we got to this new planet and we called it Earth 2. And we end up with this lake called Crystal Lake.
Yeah, like
that seems convenient.
I was a little confused because like I know when I've watched this movie in the past, I've seen that scene. There's a camp sign or a sign that says Crystal Lake, and then it goes to the campers or the people sitting there by the lake, being like, "Oh, shooting star." Like, I know that was a thing.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing the campers and they're like, "Oh, it's a shooting star. We should go check it out. It looks like it hit the lake."
Yeah, and then like, and it kind of sucks up because it shows Jason's mask just kind of slowly floating to the bottom of the lake. It's just like, "Aw, Mecha Jason got fucked up already." And honestly, not gonna lie, I've been kind of hoping that there would have been like a sequel after that. Jason,
they wanted to do a sequel, from what I understand. It was talked about. The guy that made Jason X was like, I want to do a proper sequel. You can kind of silly set up that ending to do a sequel.
Yeah, he definitely did.
It just never happened.
Yeah, and like I'm kind of bummed about that just because
would have been fine if they'd made a sequel.
Yeah, like I would have watched it. I mean, I would have found a free way to watch it, like if I had like a Redbox code or something to get like a free rental or whatever. Like I would definitely have rented it, at least. So, what?
I don't know what they're like to talk about. I mean, it's Jason being Jason, but in space.
Yeah, which honestly, if like they wanted to go a different route with Jason, like I know there's fan films out there about this, but they could have had I don't know, him killing during the wintertime. Like that would have actually been interesting. Like it's wintertime, Crystal Lake, and Jason's just going on a killing spree. I mean, I understand like the effects that they would have had to put into that because he does a lot of killing outside. There's going to need to be a lot of blood spots and shit like that. But I don't know. I thought that could have been an interesting route to go. Not just put him 400 years into the future and in space.
Well, I'll give him points for trying to do something different with the franchise.
Yeah, like.
But I didn't really feel like they actually did do that much different because he pretty much does everything he would have did on Earth except in a spaceship.
Yeah, like, yeah, basically, that's it. It's just
Like I said, it tries to bring it a new direction, but honestly kind of falls flat on his face. It didn't really feel like, for the most part, it did anything really unique. Except, like I said, for that part when he freezes that girl's face off, like that was clever and unique and not something we've seen in like previous movies.
yeah, like all
like
the
stuff
other
like that, but everything else it just felt very much like we've done this before, we've done this before, we've done this before. Except now we're doing it in space.
yeah, like there's very few kills that I actually enjoyed out of this movie. One was, the face smashing, the first kill, and I kind of liked the drill kill. That was
Yeah,
kind
I
of
did.
mainly just because it was like probably like the funniest. Yeah, I found him. What's his status? He's screwed. Like like that was funny, and and I don't know of any other kills. Any other kills other than those two, really?
That really stand out at all. Yeah.
Yeah, like all the other kills are just kind of like melodramatic, unless you want to like count the one dude that got cut in half. Like, okay, but I don't really remember any of the other kills. Oh,
I like the fact that he was kind of stealthy when he was killing like the soldiers.
right?
I
Like,
thought that was kind of like I thought that was pretty good that he like saw them as enough of a threat that he decided to use some actual tactics rather than just walking towards them and stabbing them until they died.
yeah, like Jason changed his class profession.
Yeah, he changed over, became a rogue, so he could stealth his way through that section
Yep.
of the game.
He's just like, oh shit, my brute force class ain't gonna work for this. Well, I guess I'm gonna switch over to my rogue class. Maybe that's what he's doing. Like maybe that's why he can just like pop up whenever he wants. Like so if he needs to get somewhere quick, he switches over to a mage class or something, just portals.
I think he's just a standard, issue, villain, like horror villain from a movie. He can just appear wherever he needs to appear to kill people.
Yeah, like
Like I said, I mean, I don't know what else to really say. It was, I mean, if you're a fan of like the Jason movie,
yeah,
probably gonna find it be okay.
yeah, I'm a very big fan of the Jason movie, and Jason X maybe ranks at a 9 for me. Like it's not one of the Jason movies that I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna watch this one first. Like no, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna actually kind of save that one more the last.
I mean, I think it'd be great with a beer and like some, chips or something. Just, don't take it too seriously.
Hell, I have you.
It's not the bottom of the barrel, I think, when it comes to the franchise.
No, if you want
But it's
bottom
also
of the,
not it's also not the best one, but
if you want bottom of the
it's
barrel,
watchable.
you got to watch the Friday the 13th 2009 or 2008 or what year it came out. But that one's scraping the bottom of the barrel. I hate that one. Almost more than I hate Jason X, honestly.
Yeah. Any finishing thoughts before we wrap it up? 'Cause I think we pretty much said everything we need to say about the movie.
Yeah, I got really nothing else to say, but that it was an alright movie. It's at least worth a watch once in a great while.
Awesome.
So, I mean, do you want to close it out? It's been a while since I've had to close it out.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's it. boys and girls, men and women, children and dogs. We'll be back next week.
Have a good night.
Yep, nights.